My name is Keith Pilgrim. I'm the winemaker and, along with my wife, owner of Terroir Winery and Estate Vineyard here in Red Mountain, Washington. And wanted to take a minute today and tell you a little bit about Red Mountain and why Red Mountain's significant. What are the basic things that make Red Mountain unique? First and foremost, Red Mountain sits in a warm area in eastern Washington. We're in one of the warmest spots winter and summertime. So if you drew an arc between Findlay and Benton City, that would be the warmest spot in eastern Washington during both winter and summer. We're right in that area. Red Mountain also faces on a southwest slope, so you get nice exposure to the sunlight throughout the late day sun as well. And probably most significant about all this is where Red Mountain sits in relation to the Missoula era floods and how that relates to the soil types that exist on Red Mountain. So Red Mountain is composed of high carbonate, high mineral soils from partially from the Missoula era floods, and then interfingered with the flood deposits or wind-blown silts and sands. The flood deposits are significant basically because high mineral rocks were eroded from eastern Washington, eastern Oregon, western Montana, northern Idaho, and southern BC by glaciers deposited in a lake. The lake was alkaline, so the rocks are coated in calcium carbonate, so they're high in trace minerality, they're high in carbonate, then they're transported by floods down to Red Mountain, and Red Mountain's stuck out of the floodwaters by about 50 to 100 feet. So it was a separation between water moving very fast, removing all the material, and water moving very slow, depositing finer materials. So on Red Mountain, you have everything from the size of sand grains deposited to the size of Buicks deposited. Believe me, it's fun to find a Buick with a tractor too. So, but you have those interfingering deposits. If you think about other soils in the world where grapes are grown, you know, where else are grapes grown on carbonate soils? And, you know, Bordeaux, Burgundy come to mind as two sources of carbonate soils, carbonates from limestone, rather than these unique flood deposits. But Red Mountain certainly gets a texture and an earthiness from those high carbonate, high mineral soils that don't exist elsewhere in the area. This is all stuff that's been brought in by the floods. This is a finer deposit that was brought in by the floods, so water moving a little slower here. This is kind of the typical flood deposit that we see. You know, gravel, cobbles. Look at all the calcium carbonate on those rocks. I mean, those are all completely coated in calcium carbonate. So, and if you start looking at the rock types, you're going to see all different things that don't naturally exist here in the Columbia Basin. So there's some basalt, but you're going to start seeing pieces of granite, you're going to start seeing pieces of chert, you're going to start seeing quartzite, you're going to start seeing all kinds of different rocks in here. So, you know, the glaciers eroded all this material from a variety of different formations and then brought it down to Red Mountain. And one of the other things to take a look at here is, if you notice, we're only about what, maybe 25 feet long here at most from tip to tip, and this particular lens of flood deposit material is pinching out. Look here, as we go this way, it pinches down. We're actually going from about a 2 or 3 foot section down to about a foot wide section. And so they're not continuous layers. It's not like it's a layer across the entire Red Mountain. It's going to be, well, there are certain layers and they pinch in and out constantly. So that's what makes it really unique. And Red Mountain sitting right where it did in the floods makes a huge difference. The amount of energy the water was moving right here on Red Mountain, sometimes it was depositing materials, sometimes it was taking things away. And sometimes it deposited things the size of sand, sometimes it deposited gravels and cobbles, other times it dropped out a few Buicks every now and then. And so, you know, you've got this huge variety in different particle sizes that were dropped out. And then, the wind blows here in the Tri-Cities like it is a little bit this afternoon. Red Mountain sits kind of like a catcher's mitt for the Horse Heaven Hills, and you've got the finer grain deposits. So you've got flood deposits ending here. This is wind-blown silts and sands from the Horse Heaven Hills. So that's loess deposited by wind from the Horse Heaven Hills. So very unique soil types. The reason Red Mountain soils don't exist anywhere else is because of where Red Mountain sits in relation to the floods. There just isn't another place like it. There isn't another place that's at the warm spot, the banana belt, the southwest slope, and sits right where it does in relation to fast and slow moving water. So that makes Red Mountain very unique.